All right, guys, typically we like our rifles super uber tactical here, and you know, it's the industry standard. That's what sells. Sexy, black, menacing. You know, that's kind of the way I like my guns, and I'm sure that there's some kind of joke in there, but that's typically the type of gun that I like. But there are lots of gas guns out there that don't necessarily need to have that role. And what we have here today is not a super uber tactical rifle, but it does a pretty good job. This is a CMMG Mark IV, and this one's a little bit special because it's chambered in a new caliber. The Mark IV has been out for a while, and it's offered in a variety of calibers, but this one is chambered in the 22 Nosler. So if I can get in there, I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be able to focus or not. If we roll in a 5.56 here, we can see there's just a little bit difference, but you could mix them up. I don't think we're going to do anything crazy like try to pipe one to see what happens, maybe towards the end of the video. 22 Nosler is a new cartridge that was introduced at SHOT Show 2017. Among other things, Nosler sought to basically modernize the 22-250 cartridge for adaptation into modern sporting rifles. The end result is a 25% case capacity increase from 223 Remington, yielding a faster, flatter shooting round. To maximize its effectiveness, CMMG has adapted their existing Mark IV rifle into several variants chambered in 22 Nosler. This rifle is the V2 model, built around a 24-inch 1-8 twist, medium taper fluted 416 stainless steel barrel with a target crown and a rifle length gas system. The gun maintains CMMG's characteristic RKM14 key mod handguard that extends from its forged set of 70-75 receivers. The rifle is rounded out with a Geissele Automatics SSA 2-stage trigger, murdered out Magpul furniture, and this particular one is in burnt bronze. To boot, the rifle will accept standard AR-15 internal and cosmetic upgrades should you prefer.
We finally made it over to the our makeshift shooting bench here, aka a picnic table, but it works just fine. We're gonna throw a few rounds through the chrono because I'm really interested to see what this 22 Nosler will do. We did bring somewhat close competitor to this round in a 22-250. We got Thompson Center's version of the 22-250 in a Venture. The CMMG Mark IV basically comes with two hunting magazines, and they're just standard metal 6.8 mags. I mean, you know, you can interchange these with Magpul or anything that, you know, that will accommodate 6.8.
That is a standard AR-15 magazine. It looks like a Gen 2 or maybe 3 windowed PMag. You tell me.
All right, for all intents and purposes, we are going to start out with the 70 grain Nosler bullet, but I would like to throw a couple through the 77 just to see what they'll do.
Okay.
So let's start out with the 70 grain.
Now, just so everybody knows, this is the first time you've shot this gun.
It is the first time. It is the first time. So I'm just going to toss a couple into the berm down there just to get some speed on this thing.
And I'll read your numbers.
Roger that. Going hot.
3,093. I looked down right Right when you started, I realized that you didn't have your hearing protection on. So 3,079. 3,058. All right. So that was what, the 70 grain?
That was a 70 grain.
All right, pop it out. Let's see what the 77s are doing. Oh, I'm supposed to be reading 3,009 feet per second. Duplicate, 3,009 feet per second.
Last one.
2,989 feet per second. So I was hoping for a triple there, but I guess we didn't get it today. So, what do you think of the trigger?
The trigger's not bad. I mean,
We'll put a meter on it.
it's a typical AR trigger, but it's not bad. It feels pretty good.
Broke my chronograph.
3787. Stand out there and hold it 10 feet away.
Right here?
Yeah, they're a little farther. Yeah. All right. Just hold still.
3734. 3623.
Well, that's a big variance there, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay guys, so now we're going to do the accuracy comparison. Now remember, this is out the box accuracy. I did a little bit of shooting a few days ago with this gun, just to zero the gun, and let me say this, it was easily a sub-MOA rifle, but Doc is a much better shooter than I am, so I'm interested to see what he can do on the thing. Again, shooting the same 70 versus 77 grain bullets in the 22 Nosler. So 5-shot groups. Go ahead and light her off there, boss. Moving on. See what you got.
Five rounds, one hole.
So that's a 77, huh?
Yep.
You got something for scale in your pocket there? The only thing that we have left to do now is actually go shoot the gun at some respectable ranges, right? This little 50-yard stuff that we're doing, okay, that's cool, right? That's for standard AR-15s. 22 Noslers, time to stretch it.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Okie dokie, y'all. I'm set up at 730 yards approximately. That's what my laser's giving me. I normally like to shoot the full 8, but that spot's a little overgrown right now, and I can't really make the shot from there. So we're going to do it from here. As you can see, I've got the world's most stable rest here, and we're going to be doing the 77 grain. This is the custom competition Nosler stuff. Again, match grade. I had a little bit of issue with the 70 grain. I don't know. I'm done. I was trying to shoot it as the sun was going down, and I just couldn't really consistently make it. We had a lot of wind that day, so I've upgraded to the 77 grain. I've re-zeroed for 77. I put it into the calculator, and hopefully it does good work. So without further hot air, we're going to see if I can't get on that steel. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to hear it or not, but we'll see. All right. No rear bag. Sounded like a whiff to me. That sounded like it got something. Magazine's too short. You gotta get some 6.8. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that steel down there or not. I probably should have picked a different type of target. It's just a flat plate. All right, that's all she wrote. Let's go down, take a look at the targets, see how we did. As you guys could hear, there were some misses in there, but we were fairly consistent. I put a really big chunk of steel down there, so we should be all right. But 22 Nosler 77 grain, doing better than the 70s were yesterday anyway. Okie dokie. So let's take a look at these targets here. So this is the target that I was trying to hit the entire time, the one that makes the really awesome noise, right? We have a couple impacts here and here, but the majority of our shots landed over here. A couple here, but for the most part, it looks like they're a little bit low and tending to the right. And I was holding for wind. We have a wind coming out of this direction over here. That was fairly appreciable, but right here there is no wind, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm looking at here. So if I take this camera, we have this huge corridor here that basically blocks all the wind, except for the bullet has to fly past that knoll there, and the only thing I can think is that the wind pattern there is really, really high compared to where I was, because I was holding where I would normally hold for like a 5.56 round. So the wind just must be screwing with us today. That's the only thing I can say. So 22 Nosler, did it accomplish its goals? 22 Nosler was supposed to basically shrink the 22-250 cartridge into something that would be used in things like AR-15s, and increase the case capacity of the 5.56 round by 25%. I think it did a pretty good job, and as you guys can see, we were able to hit targets out at 800 yards. Now, I can admit that I'm not the greatest long-range shooter in the world, so I have to use really big targets. I would like to advance that skill set by going and taking like a class off of like some guy like Clint Smith out at Thunder Ranch, you know, some esteemed professional in the field. Maybe I'll get to that this year, maybe I won't. I see myself shooting more and more of this kind of stuff, so maybe I need to make that investment, I'm not sure. Now, the cartridge. The bullet weights range anywhere from 55 to 77, and you know, it's an application specific cartridge. So if you're shooting prairie dogs out at 300 yards, you might want a 77 grain, to get you there accurately. If you're shooting coyotes in your backyard, 55 grain, right? So the cartridge, I think, is totally capable of doing it, but we have to keep in mind that a 77 grain projectile is still going to have wind effects like we saw on the targets over there. Now, if I had a spotter, I probably could have done a lot better, but I'm out here doing it by myself, spotting with the camera. And we're having really weird wind patterns here because we're getting the remnants of that hurricane that rolled through Texas kind of coming up through here. So the wind pattern shifting from east to west to north, and that makes it really difficult to shoot. I will make an excuse for my poor shooting here today. The rifle. I'm supremely impressed with CMMG. As usual, they basically push the envelope. Remember, 22 Nosler introduced SHOT Show 2017, and they basically built a rifle around, or adapted a rifle around, the 22 Nosler in 8 months. Not only did they do that, but they easily produced a sub-MOA rifle in that time that's a gas gun in a new caliber that comes in at a price point that would blow your mind for, a rifle that's capable of shooting that sort of stuff. That, I don't know how CMMG is doing it. You guys know that I'm supreme fans of CMMG. They do good work. You saw all of our work on their some of their other things, like the Guard was recent, and the Anvil they produced last year. So really pushing the envelope. Just one of those companies that is kicking ass in the years of very little innovation in the firearms industry. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. This is a look at the Mark IV from CMMG and 22 Nosler. Great little, this would be an excellent coyote rifle, for instance. It's probably going to wear some night optics, and I would say that it's probably the most accurate rifle I own that doesn't cost $5 grand.